Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino, and you know what? You and I, we're gonna have a little fun. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So it is Friday, April 1st, 2022. First of all, a big, huge thank you to those of you out here who do choose to support my work. I really do appreciate you. And just to give you an idea, we're talking about, if you do support my work, you're among 1/4 of 1%. It's even less than that of the people that actually do support my work. So I am not ungrateful, believe me, but it's just so few of you actually do. It's astonishing. That's okay. Look, I still got your back, and I still love you, and I mean it. What else is going on? I did a really interesting interview today with George Gammon, and you guys and girls are gonna love it. George and I had a good time, and we put a lot of things into perspective. I believe it's coming out later today, so be sure you check George's channel, and I will send this out in my free newsletter to those of you that do subscribe. I hope you subscribe to my newsletter. It's 100% free, and I hope you utilize the chat room on my website. I pay for that, and I open up rooms all the time for all of you. It's an amazing resource. There's a lot of really smart people there. All right, look, with that all out of the way, let's talk about a lot of things. I got like two pages of stuff that I want to cover with you. Like I said, we'll see what we get to. I usually don't cover it all. So with this market today, okay, it was kind of all over the place. It was positive and negative. We did finish in the positive, but gains were muted. Gains were muted because of two things. There was a little fear here in the market for whatever reason, okay? The market doesn't like this, the market doesn't like this and that, and the war is escalating, and cities are being destroyed. Now, this is what we're being told. And more money from our illustrious government, well, those who pretend to be our government, is going to be thrown at the last crisis. Oh, I have something to tell you about that. I'm talking about, COVID here. Something really big going on that no one even knows about. So just hold on for that. We'll get to it. So on the back of that, yes, we did have a little fear trade. We got the 10-year yield came down, relative strength of the dollar higher today. Okay, although we did finish higher, these gains were muted. People, I believe this market is setting up for a pretty big move higher. There's so many pieces to this puzzle that are in place right now. And the easy money is not going to stop. As a matter of fact, it's going to be increasing moving forward. The promise from the European Central Bank that they're going to continue to buy assets, continue to buy government, debt, just like the Federal Reserve is going to do. There will be no taper. Inflation is going to skyrocket by design, and you're all in a lot of trouble unless you get yourself on the right side of this thing. And I've been working my rear end off here for years to try to keep you there. And I think for the most part, I've done a pretty good job. Am I right all the time? No, believe it or not, I'm not right all the time. But I am right most of the time. It's very hard for anyone to argue against that. Anyway, so with regard to other assets, let's look around a little bit. We got cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin doing pretty well today. The major cryptos around 46,000 for Bitcoin. Gold and silver under a little pressure today. All right, whatever, who cares, right? You and I are in this for the long run, and they can do whatever they want to. I don't care. Neither should you. Again, I'm going to tell you this. Just imagine for a moment, an environment, I'm laughing, where a derivative dictates the price of a hard asset. It's upside down. But that's how the system is rigged against precious metals. Good. Let them keep doing it, people, because global debt is going to balloon from here. Like you have no idea. I mean, global debt is on course to double in a short period of time. So just be ready for that. Well, what does that mean for the currency? What does it mean for inflation? You figure that one out, because all you need is a fraction of a freaking brain cell to understand that whole mechanism. I mean, it's just crazy. It really, really is. Anyway, people. So with the market aside here, okay, crude oil still under pressure here, people, in my view. All right, and I think you would have to agree with me. Let's put this together real quick. We have an economy here, the United States, which uses about 20 million barrels of oil a day. Okay, crude oil. Our illustrious Frankenstein president, he did, he's so happy. He's so happy that he did this, and he's so gleeful, and he's really trying to help the American people. He released 1 million barrels a day in an environment that uses 20 million. It's not going to do much. I believe that this drop in crude is going to play out to be an amazing, astonishing buying opportunity moving forward, looking at not just crude oil itself, but energy producers. People, go to my website, traderschoice.net. I have 3 energy producers listed there. Go check it out. I got the ticker symbols there for you. Commodities too, people. We've seen a pretty wild ride with commodities lately. You got to have exposure. Again, I list an ETF on my website. You need to have these things in your portfolio here. I'm not talking about trading these things. I'm talking about having them in your portfolio for the longer run. And these energy companies, these energy producers, they pay a big, fat, freaking lovely dividend. So you just sit back and collect that dividend too, and have all kinds of fun with it. That's what I do. Yeah. So anyway, let me start cutting into my little notes here. So our illustrious president today, maybe we'll just refer to him as that, because obviously he's all kinds of screwed up. The man, he's a liar. Let's talk about his lies today. So he's out today, our illustrious president, Bidenstein, praising that wages are finally moving higher. 0.4% last month is tremendous. Did he forget to mention that inflation is surging at about 8%? So again, real wages, they're just evaporating. This 0.4% is nothing, but he has to, push that point home to all of you. He's feeding you the buckets full of shit that he's making you drink. All these politicians are the same, and they don't work for you anyway. They're just some kind of figurehead that people sit back and worship as if they're some kind of gods or something. And believe me, there are many, many people. Whenever I talk bad about our illustrious, should I say it, retard president, I get slammed, because he has a pretty big base, a pretty big support base. And my email box, Greg, you suck. Greg, F you. Greg, drop dead. Blah, blah, blah. Death threats. There's not a single week that goes by that I do not get a death threat. I'm deadly serious about this. As a matter of fact, if you recall, I ran a free event, free for everyone, out here in Las Vegas right before COVID hit. We had a really, really good time, but I'm actually a little nervous to do it again this year because I've gotten more death threats as of late than I think ever. And it's probably just goes with the territory, but people out and out tell me, you're going to die, I'm going to kill you. And you can't do anything about it. I looked into this. There was one a while back that really frightened me. I actually called the FBI out here. They had claimed to have killed before, and they were coming to get me. So I brought this to the attention of the FBI out here in Las Vegas. You know what they told me? They said they can't do anything about it. They wait for you to die, and then they do something. Anyway, look, that's just a whole side thing going on here. Anyway, so our president here talking about, he's so happy about these wage gains. It's just fantastic. But he won't talk about inflation skyrocketing. Yes, he will. He'll point over at Russia, number one, the energy crisis and everything else, but he will not point a finger at the Federal freaking Reserve. Oh, no. I'm still waiting for just one world leader. I don't know, puppet world leader to say, go look at the central banks. No, won't happen. No, it didn't happen under the last guy, Trump. Didn't happen under the guy before him. Guy before that won't do it. They're all slaves, and they're trying to make you a slave to the central banks by creating debt slaves on an incredible scale. So, going back to economic news, this is pretty lovely. So the ISM report came in on manufacturing, and guess what? It unexpectedly fell to an 18-month low. It's unexpected because our economy is so strong. Our economy is booming. It's absolutely booming, and everyone's rich. They're all rich. Yeah. Getting robbed blind, people. They're absolutely getting robbed blind here. Now, this is something else I want to talk about with you. So, this should not be a surprise at all. I've covered this in the past as of late, and I'm going to cover it again now. So NATO nations are about to balloon their military spending budgets. I mean, here in the United States, President Bidenstein, I was going to say something different. We have now the biggest military budget ever. More weaponry, modern weaponry. We're sending tens of billions of dollars, multiple tens of billions of dollars over to Ukraine to fight that proxy war over there. Look, it's just another mechanism to continue to borrow. While we're on that topic, the whole, you know how this works. Crisis, right? The last crisis, which is apparently still going on. How much cash do you think the U.S. government has spent so far on COVID? Any guesses? Well, it's hidden in plain sight. I just sent this out in my free newsletter. Link in the description of this video. A link to this. $3.6 trillion. But guess what? They have yet to spend another trillion. In other words, it's already budgeted and it's going to be spent. Another trillion. So we're looking at $4.6 trillion. As a matter of fact, today we found out that our illustrious president and Congress are going to vote to spend another $10 billion, which is just a fraction of the another trillion that's coming. So in aggregate, in total, so they will be spending $4.6 trillion on COVID. And you can expect the same thing to happen with this war, which will be prolonged. You're going to hear more talks about, oh yeah, talks are going on again. Talks! And maybe this time something good's going to come out of it. And then absolutely not. Oh, they need more money. We got to throw more weapons. Oh, we got to send them more cash, for which maybe 10% ends up where it's supposed to go. The rest of it all ends up in the pockets of those so-called oligarchs and the so-called United States oligarchs too. Okay, we all understand how this works here. All right, they want you to think there's just those type of people over there. Oh, no, we have our own share of those here too. But I think you're well aware of that. Let us. Oh yeah, how about this one? Over the last 12 months, I'm laughing. I shouldn't be laughing. Consumer sentiment has cratered to a historic low. That's because our economy is so strong. And that's because they have inflation under control and everything's just great. It's all propaganda. Again, we're in a propaganda war with China and Russia and everybody else too. But in case you don't know about it, you're being propagandized as well. Anyway, just get used to it. Anyway, what else, people? What else did I want to tell you? Half of this stuff I can't read because my handwriting is so bad. I think that's about it. So anyway, let's just summarize real quick. We have an environment where we move from crisis to crisis in a simple mechanism to pull more cash from the future. How many of you are surprised to find out that thus far the United States has spent $3.6 trillion with another trillion already budgeted, which they must spend, which they will spend on COVID no matter what. Okay, another trillion is going to be thrown at it. And where do you think that cash is going? You really think all that money went to, I don't know, helping people out? How about, I don't know, maybe 10% of that too? That's my general rule. Whenever you hear about cash being sent here and cash being sent there to support whatever cause they want to throw cash at, maybe 10% ends up supporting the actual thing. And the rest of it just ends up in people's pockets. It's so twisted. But I think this is relatively common knowledge. Anyway, people, look, we can expect several things to happen moving forward. Another crisis, absolutely. And we're already in the early stages of it. And that is an energy crisis. And then a food crisis, a food shortage crisis, which according to the United Nations will lead to social unrest. And what will that do? More control. They're going to allow and actually cause social unrest to develop, and then what are they going to do? Well, they're going to slap some other kind of control mechanism on you, take away your liberties, take away your freedom. This is a slave planet. I think you all know that, and nothing is what it seems to be here. But you can expect, again, another crisis, and each crisis must be larger than the one before. So if we've already spent $3.6 trillion on COVID with another trillion to go, you can only imagine what they're going to be spending on the next crisis and the one after that. Again, the mechanism must be fed, and it must be fed exponentially. You can't just keep pulling the same amount of cash from the future. It must be increased, and then increased again, and then increased on top of it. You understand? That's how it goes. And who pays the brunt? Who's paying for all this? You are. It's not governments paying for this. You're paying the price in the form of skyrocketing inflation, purchasing power getting dissolved. People, like I said, they can't make ends meet here. And that's just the way it's going to go as we move forward into this two-tier society. That's going to get much greater moving forward. Again, extreme haves, extreme have-nots. And the middle class, you're going away. You're going to be extinct. In years to come, they're going to read about the middle class in history books. We used to have a three-tier society. Yeah, but no more. Now we just have the ruling class and the slaves below. And that's just the way it's going to go. And, look, I just want you to be on the right side of this whole thing, people. I sincerely work very hard at this. I really do. To try to gather as much information as I can to allow you to hear it. And then, look, you do what you want with this stuff. But I think it makes sense to a lot of people. Again, that's just, gauging from my channel, which is getting much, much larger, my following getting much, much larger. And we're making a difference, people. Look, that's what it's all about for me and for you too, is getting out here and trying to make a positive difference in the world. And if all it takes is like sharing a video like this, or, you start talking about this. If any one of you want to start your own blog, I will help you. I'll help promote it for you. I want more people to get out here and do this. Start talking about this stuff. The more of us that do that, the more people we're going to get through to. It's just so important. All right, people, look, with that said, bring it in. We're going to do our usual thing like we do every Friday. Ready? Come on. Bring it in. Nobody's looking. Love each other. Care about each other. Be charitable. People, again, thank you to those of you that do support my work. And if you would like to support my work, I sincerely hope you would. On the first of every month, I asked you for $5. $5. And like I said, less than 1/4% of you actually send me $5. That's okay. I still love all of you, and I mean it, and I am a very grateful man for that. But if you want to support my work, you can do it two ways. Number one, there is a link here to PayPal. Send me $5. I'd appreciate it. Or if you want to send me cryptocurrencies, I would love that too. 2 links down there. Take advantage of one of them, please. And I'll see all of you Sunday for my markets to look ahead. Have a great, great weekend, and I'm out of here.